Hello guys, today I'm going to dive deeper into Obsidian. I've prepared 11 tips about how to improve your work in Obsidian and building your second brains there. All of them I tested by myself, so you can trust it and use it in the production. The tip number one, never start from scratch. When you start to keep your own knowledge base, that could be very hard to start it from scratch, from the blank page if you will. Don't do it. I'm sure you have a lot of notes that you already took, like when you were reading books or articles or from your study, for example. Use them as a starting point, move them on first, then you will build your knowledge on top of that. Tip number two, use your own words. This is one of core Zettelcasten rules. Use your own words when you move knowledge from somewhere to your knowledge base. In that way, you will get the topic better and your knowledge base could be written only by you, just like your book. And if it seems necessary to copy-paste some ideas, make it as quotes, mark down in Obsidian, have the right functionality, and that way you can separate your own words from the quotes. Tip number three, use templates. I made for myself short yet full template for each new note that I want to take. I use it to not forget to link that notes to other ones. There are also a few plugins to Obsidian. I don't use it yet, but you can. The first one is Data View, that could take your properties as a real database properties and filter and arrange your knowledge in kind of table. The second one is Template. It's like a templates on steroids that can make your templates conditional based like a script. So once I try it, I will film a video about that certainly. Tip number four, search before adding a new notes. When you keep your second brain for a month or more, you probably won't remember everything that you already have. So if you have a new idea, you probably should search, and if you find that you already have that idea inside, you can improve it instead of duplicating it. Tip number five, aggregate your book or course notes. I found it interesting because that way I can share all my book notes with my friends, or I can prepare like a summarization of my book notes to present it in the book club or something like that. Tip number six, add a project page to make notes actionable. It's a very interesting practice to ask yourself every time when you're adding a note, when do I want to use it? Am I going to create a content about it, or am I going to use it in my work or personal projects? Having a project with a bunch of backlinked notes is very useful, so when you actually work on project, you can use that notes as references. Tip number seven, don't try to make it perfect. Misspelling, proc formatting, all the thing can distract you from the actually work on your second brain. Better spend time to actually add more insights than to trying to make a perfect layout, and you won't make a perfect layout, believe me. Anyway, you can fix it later when you will arrange it to the presentation or like that. Tip number 8, don't mind categories. The categorizing stuff is overvalued. You will never want to see all your notes about, let's say, project management. It just don't have any use cases. So use project over categories. That's a better practice. Tip number 9, do slow burns. The key to any success is consistency. Obvious once again. But hardly you gonna be consistent if you push yourself hard. Better to start small, like a 15 minutes a day to move your notes from bookshelf to your knowledge base. And if you feel like to do it more, you can increase your time spending, but never try to make it like a job. You will just burn yourself out and don't want to go back to your knowledge base again. Tip number 10, create non-existing pages for future. When you're writing a note, you probably will go through a lot of terms you will want to write also about. When I do that, I also make it like a link in Obsidian, but it leads to not existing page yet. After some time you will write about that topic, and then you will see a lot of pages have backlinks to it, and this is awesome. And the last 11th tip is use Obsidian-git in order to synchronize your knowledge base. I'm use it because it's free, and also I trust GitHub as a place to have my data in. You also can use things like Google Drive and iCloud storage, but I should mention that Obsidian Sync working well, and you can use it if you use Obsidian on your mobile phone. I don't, so I don't need it. So that was my 10+1 Obsidian tips. If you like it, if you have more tips, you can jot it in comments down below. And thank you for watching. Bye.